Joining me now is Josh Barro. He wrote a story for The Atlantic entitled Sonia Sotomayor Should Retire Now. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. So just big picture, isn't there something kind of ugly about viewing the court strictly through a political lens?
I think it's just realistic to view the court through a political lens. It is a body that makes important policy decisions, and those decisions are different depending on who appointed the judges on the court. And so I think, a lot of legal scholars, a lot of judges are very attached to this idea of the court as a body that is above politics. But I think Americans can see from the Dobbs decision and from other high stakes decisions that this court has made that fundamentally, if you care about what the government does, then you need to care about the political composition of the court.
What do you make of the argument that she's 69 and Biden's 81, and Democrats are rallying around Joe Biden as the candidate, and yet people like yourself are encouraging Sonia Sotomayor at 69 to step down?
There are different positions with different considerations about what the impacts are if people have untimely deaths when holding those positions. If Joe Biden were to die in office, his vice president, who's also a Democrat, would become president. I was never super attached to the idea that Biden necessarily needed to be the candidate for re-election. But when you looked at the other options, what would have happened if Biden had stepped aside? I think it was clear the Democrats would have been less likely to win the 2024 election after a messy primary that we would have set up, likely nominating Kamala Harris, who polls worse than he does. So yes, the president's age is a problem, but it can't be fixed in a way that is available to the Democratic Party right now. Whereas the Justice Sotomayor, if she dies, and I'm not suggesting she's on death's door right now, she'll be 70 on election day. Antonin Scalia was 70 on election day in 2006. He stayed on the court. Republicans lost control of the Senate that year. There wasn't another good opportunity to appoint a replacement for him for 10 years, and he didn't quite make it. It's not that he was about to die when he was 70, but Democrats could go 12 years, 14 years without the ability to appoint a replacement. They already went 14 years. Between 1995 and 2009 was a period when Democrats didn't control the presidency and the Senate at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just curious, what on a somewhat related topic, what makes you think Kamala Harris would have won the Democratic primary?
I think that, she's the sitting vice president, which would have given her.
She's wildly unpopular.
I think there would have been tremendous reluctance on the part of Democrats to oppose her. I think they, if you're Gretchen Whitmer or you're Josh Shapiro or you're Gavin Newsom, you're looking at that race. You can either run into Kamala Harris and probably lose because she will coalesce most of the party establishment around her. Biden is certainly not going to endorse somebody other than her. He's been quite loyal to her. You're just going to wait 4 more years. So I think that, whatever her weakness is as a general election candidate, the problem with Kamala Harris as a politician, I realize we're a little afield from the segment topic here, but, she's designed to appeal to very core Democratic Party insider constituents, which is a weakness in a general election, but it's a strength for her running a Democratic primary.
Let me play a quick piece of sound from what the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, said yesterday when asked about whether the White House plans to call for Sotomayor to retire.
Has the White House considered asking Justice Sotomayor to retire?
Look, that's a personal decision for her to make. That is something that that she has to make. It's not something that we lean in on or get involved in.
You're not expecting the White House to be joining in this call, right?
No, I don't. I think that this pressure needs to come from the bottom up. I think, it's ultimately, it's a factual statement. This is Sonia Sotomayor's decision. I think she cares about the progressive legal project. And I think that like most people who are ideological, I'm sure she cares about the people that she feels she went to Washington to fight for. And if she gets the impression that, progressives worry that she's endangering their project by staying on the court, I think that might be convincing to her. But I think it has to come, I think it should come from, elected officials in Congress who represent the Democrats who are out in districts across the country. And I think that, similar to what we saw with Justice Breyer, you had this public pressure campaign trying to get him to step down. I think people didn't worry too much about whether it was going to hurt Stephen Breyer's feelings. And I think that was reasonable. He's a powerful man who had a long career on the court. And, Sonia Sotomayor, again, will be 70 on election day. A lot of people retire before the age of 70. It's not like we're asking her to cut her career very short, and she can continue to do important, influential things, after she leaves the court.
Yeah. And some people run for president after they're 80. Josh Barro, thanks so much for coming on the program. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below
to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.